stay a while and listen.
Welcome back, everybody, to the AOP podcast, which stands for Agony of Positivity, which I probably shouldn't have to explain every week, but I do anyway. I am Ross. Joining me today is pretty much every single time. He's somewhere lurking.
Saul.
Ness Monster. The Saul Ness Monster.
The Saul Ness Monster, yes.
He installed a lock in his backyard so he could lurk about.
And yes, we'll talk more about the Loch Ness.
Oh, yeah. So before we even get into our weeks, like we normally do, I just want to give a preview of the show. We got Bigfoot, we got asteroids, Loch Ness Monster, the Forbidden Door in the world of wrestling has been opened apparently with New Japan Wrestling and American promotions. Maybe some Hearthstone and Warcraft stuff. And who knows from there? I kind of think just telling you what we're going to talk about is almost better than the show itself is going to be. We could end it now.
You should have followed up with Tower of the Damned when you talked about World of Warcraft. See, it would all went with the whole doom and gloom.
Ooh, this is very true.
Yes.
So, how has your week been?
It's been pretty uneventful until yesterday. I was doing a rug delivery yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped at this red light in the cleaning van or the delivery van, however you want to say it. And I'm sitting there, and it's a bright sunny day out. It's beautiful for wintertime. I thought, man, this is a pretty nice day. And I'm sitting there, I noticed the cement truck pulls up right next to me, and right when he pulls up next to me, it starts downpouring. Like all over the street on top of me, and I'm like, what in the world? Because I'm looking around, there's like no clouds in the sky, and it's just gushing water. And I look over, and at this time the cement truck is turning right, and as he's turning, on top of the cement truck is like just shooting out water.
So like the hose they have at the top.
I guess I don't know.
Or like, I don't know if it's a hose or a valve, but I've seen them where. Sometimes once the concrete's down, now I don't know a ton about laying that bulk of concrete, where sometimes like float it or smooth it out or whatever. You gotta like get a little bit more water sometimes, or it might be for rinsing, like like the slide off. Basically, I'm sure there's a better name for it, like out of the back.
Well, so there's.
But either way, something was not right.
So the thing is spinning. So I don't know if there's concrete in there. Or there's this water, and he's just like, I'm just going to let this loose, or it's just like a safety thing was broken. I don't know, but as he's turning, it's like flooding everything, like the buildings.
Yeah, like it's a full on like strong hose.
Oh yeah, man! It was soaking everything, and I've never seen that before. Never witnessed that.
Well, because it was definitely below. It was below freezing yesterday.
Yeah.
So. Do you think it's possible that this guy just had a beef with the city and was trying to ice up the roads?
Maybe.
Or could it possibly be it was Decepticon Master of the Decepticons?
Well, it's like you said. I don't know a lot about cement trucks, but I would like to know what was going on there.
Right.
So.
I'm verifying something. Decepticon. I want to make sure I didn't say the wrong name. Yeah, Mixmaster was the cement truck. Okay. Part of the Constructicons that would
form the really big thing.
Devastator specifically. But one of the coolest looking ones, short of Minosaur, which were the Stunicons. But either way. Yeah, it's way more cool to think that he was preparing for a battle against like one of the Protectobots, like the fire truck or something.
Yes.
But yeah, that is real weird because like, so the guy like, since it's going forward, right? Like over the cab or from the cab. So he had to know that there was like a problem.
I would think, yes.
Or he knew that he caused a problem. Like, it's hard to say.
Well, I mean, there's no way he could not see that the whole street and cars were being flooded by his water that was coming from his truck.
Like something was up that it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, it was weird. I'm like, okay. I'm glad I had my window rolled up.
Well, yeah. Well, especially with that van. Jeez.
Yeah.
So
that was my week. It ended kind of weird.
I had pretty uneventful for the week. I did a rug delivery myself, which is very unusual, but the person that we delivered to actually helped us move the furniture. Which is bizarre to think about, where people usually just point and tell you what to do, and they have very outlandish expectations.
Yes.
So that kind of was strange, but other than that, yeah, I've done a little bit of gaming.
Yep.
But that's pretty much it. Watched wrestling. Made Parmesan crusted chicken during the week. So super uneventful. So let's see.
So this current weekend is the big game, as they like to say.
Oh yeah, the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl. So do you care? See, I don't know why. So can you not say Super Bowl if you're not officiated with it?
Depending on how you're talking about it. Like, I think if it's on the radio and you're doing some kind of promotion, unless you're officially tied to the NFL and have some kind of particular rights.
Like if you're talking about snacks or whatever.
Yeah, like I think there's about zero cost of us saying the Super Bowl. But if we were to run like a Super Bowl promotion or contest, that might...
Gotcha.
Again, I don't think we're going to be targeted at all for that. But in general, I think you got to be careful with your verbiage. That's why you'll hear radio stations call it really stupid names for stuff. I remember one year around here, they were like, "Oh, it's the Ooper Bowl party." Like, so you just dropped the S off, huh? Like, great. Or the bowl that's super. Like, you'll hear like all kinds of different things. So I have to assume there's like a rights to go there.
So we'll just do that, because I like to say weird things. Let's say the bowl that is super.
Right. And then with wrestling coming up, we can just make it WrestleMania.
Yes.
Or Evolution as opposed to Revolution.
So do you care anything about the Ooper Bowl there?
I would like to see the Tom Brady's win.
Yeah.
Because by him winning again, it just further cements that his inability to beat the New York Giants 2 times. That there's just something uncanny about that team to him.
Tell you what, man, Eli Manning was Tom Brady's kryptonite.
I honestly think New York's defense was Tom Brady's kryptonite. I don't think it had a lot to do. Eli did what needed to be done, and the receivers did. But
like I told you yesterday, it was Eli Manning's face, non-emotion face that just got to it haunted his dreams at night.
Where he just looked confused and threw his hands up every time something dumb happened, but never got mad. Except for the one time he got mad at Ahmed Bradshaw and grabbed him by the face mask and screamed in his face.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing against the Kansas City guy. What's his name?
Mahomes.
Mahomes, yeah. He seems like a good kid. He seems like he has his head on his head right, as they say.
His head is in the correct location on his body.
It seems like his head is on the correct location on his body. No, he just seems like a really good kid, but it's hard to root against him. But I want Tom Brady to get like 10 rings.
Well, I mean, he's got probably 8 more years to play, so he might be able to hit 10.
They said if he wins tomorrow, he's going to have the most Super Bowl rings than most franchises.
Yeah, I'd believe that. I mean, he's had like quite the run for sure. Yeah, like years past when I was like super into football, I probably would have had a much more intelligent opinion on it. But I'm so casual to watching football now that it, like, I'm one of the people who's watching for commercials at this point. Like,
Yes,
which is
I
kind
never
of
thought I'd
sad,
be that
but
person. I have just fallen out of love with football. With sports in general. Unless you're wearing colorful outfits in wrestling, that's the
yes.
only thing I care about now.
Well, and it's predetermined in some capacity,
Yeah.
so it's more art than it is sport.
Maybe
Yeah, for myself, because I was letting games ruin my week in some cases.
Sure.
Plus,
Sure.
being a fan of like an out of market team, having to pay for Sunday ticket every year was like, man, it's affordable, but it's still a chunk of money. And it's like, it's dumb that I should have to pay this. And I know there's ways you can use like a VPN to get like Sunday ticket and all that stuff at a cheaper price. It's like, I don't want to go to that much work. I don't want to try to pull up illegal streams where where it's like LimeWire, where you're just infecting your machine. If you're not running like uBlock Origins and all that stuff.
Sure.
Like, I don't want to put that much effort into trying to watch a football game. So,
Sure.
that combination, I'll eventually get back into it, I'm sure, because I enjoy football. But this year, with no crowd, definitely not going to be it. And considering the fact that it's already gone, so there's no way that I'd get into it this year. But
I mean, it's hard to watch wrestling with no fans. Yeah, football with no. Yeah.
What football needs to do, because they have a lot of money, is they need to kidnap from AEW Austin Gunn, take him to like Brazil, clone him.
Run around.
Well, just clone him, and put about 75 Austin Guns in each stadium, and that will probably be louder than a sellout crowd. That guy. That dude, oh my goodness. For anyone who doesn't listen to us and skips the wrestling stuff, AEW, they have basically like the wrestlers around ringside. And it's like, hey, we need basically kind of being like fans that you can see. And it does add something to the show. It's better than nothing. But one of the guys is like, he is committed to being a fan more than the fans are, I would say. Like, he goes all out to like try to get some noise in there. And it's annoying, but it's also like, it's admirable, I would say.
Sure. So it sounds like we're both rooting for old Tommy 10 rings there. So.
Yeah. Or, I mean, if he gets like just absolutely blown out, that's fine too.
Nope.
Like, I either want a competitive game or I want to see like just sorrow on an old man's face.
Sorrow on an old man's face. Yeah,
and by old, I mean like 2 years older than me. But
sure. Sure. So, all right. Well, so let's get to our show, I guess.
All right. You want to do? I'm real interested in all this like Bigfoot, asteroid, Loch Ness monster stuff. So I think we're going to go to that. So let me make a note here. 13:30-ish. We're going to do, we're going to, just so people know, we're probably going to do a new theme song and logo here coming up before too long. So if all of a sudden something looks different or sounds different, just a little bit of a heads up. But here we go for something.
Covered, and there's so much more.
All right. So what do you want to go to first? Bigfoot, asteroid, Loch Ness monster. I feel like it's Celebrity Jeopardy. Or just how news places will label news stories.
We could go into how news sources talk about, because we talk about the asteroid first, because it is hysterical how they label these asteroids.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's pretty much an asteroid constantly that's going to be technically, I'm doing like the air quotes thing, technically near the Earth, like when you consider space and distances. When the reality is it's like millions of miles away, so not really close, like for the most part. But this one, it was off MSN News. Largest, I'll go ahead and read the largest asteroid to fly past Earth in 2021, which is already funny because it's, we're like a month in. Potentially hazardous with a quote, and here's why. So I'm assuming there's people who are going to be like, oh no, are we going to get blown up?
Yes.
So the article here, this was just 21 hours ago too, so we're like amazingly timely for ourselves. On March 21st, the largest known asteroid to fly past Earth in 2021 will make a close approach to our planet. Again, I love that they used 2021 like this early on. The enormous space rock known as the 2001 FO32 is one of numerous near-Earth objects, or NEOs, that orbit the sun in our cosmic neighborhood. Potentially hazardous are those with the orbit that approach the Earth's own path around the sun within 4.6 million miles, while also being greater around than 460 feet. So they come. Let's see what they say here. Paul Chodas, I might be saying the name wrong. He's a CNEOS director. I assume that has something to do with the NEOs with a C in front of it. Center for who knows. Come close enough to Earth that it is possible over many centuries and millennia they might evolve into Earth's crossing orbits. So it's prudent to keep tracking these asteroids for decades to come and to study how their orbits might be evolving.
Yep.
Which is fair, because like over time things can be affected by like your gravity, your orbit, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But we're not really worrying about it currently.
Well, it's 1.3 million miles.
Yeah. At 11:03 a.m. On that date.
Because the moon is like what, 300,000?
I do not know. Like off the top, I would have to look it up, but it's pretty far.
I'm just like, so I mean, it's just pandering. It's just clickbait, pandering fear. That's all it is. I hate that. I hate when news. I mean, if your news story is so boring that you have to like do clickbait to get people to look, I hate it. It just
Well, and the thing is, like, there's money tied to the clicks, so it's going to keep. Just like you're the one who first pointed this out to me. That I realized it when you told me, but your big thing is like the weathermen when there's like a winter storm coming, where it's like they're like, I don't even need my wife anymore. We got a winter storm. This is going to take care of me for weeks on end. Like,
sure.
Like this is better than anything that she could do.
I mean, like we have a weather guy, and I always make fun of him because, dude, he takes his handkerchief out and he's wiping down his face. He starts sweating, and I'm thinking, I don't know if this is real or fake, but if you get this worked up over a winter storm, wow.
Right. Or it's like, did you want to be like an actor, but you settled for like on-air talent, basically, for like the news?
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised there was never a weatherman gimmick in like old time wrestling.
Sure.
Like the evil weatherman that like lied to farmers.
Yes.
I got you, Hillbilly Jim. I told you there was going to be a hailstorm that would destroy your crops, and you're stupid and you believe me. You've been up since 3 a.m. I'm going to crush you because you're so tired.
Yeah.
I need a Hillbilly Jim action figure now to add to my toys to have the Weatherman and Hillbilly Jim feud.
So you found this article about Bigfoot.
Yeah, so the end result here, just in case anyone was worrying, is we're not going to get blown up by the asteroid, most likely. And if we were, they're probably not telling us anyway. So
yes.
But yeah, so I was searching because you mentioned like the asteroid thing, and Bigfoot comes up from time to time on the show. So I was looking for like recent Bigfoot news, and this is from December 31st, so pretty overall recent. Bigfoot. This is out here, Colorado. I couldn't read there's double T's in the address, so it confused me very badly. Out here, Colorado.com has something about Bigfoot. So it's Bigfoot report describes odd encounter in Colorado's Summit County. I don't know if you would describe a Bigfoot report as anything other than odd. So here's what we got. So this is from the article here. Believe it or not, Bigfoot has been reportedly spotted in Colorado more than 100 times in recent years, including one notable daylight spotting that occurred in Summit County. During the summer of 2019, a daytime hiker was taking a daytime break near a daytime log cabin. I'm adding some of the daytimes, but they're really driving it home.
The daytime.
Yeah, so it was like the Mayflower Gulch near Frisco. When he spotted something odd at about 11,000 feet of elevation, he reports seeing a large bipedal creature attempting and failing to climb a 20-foot high snow wall. After the failed attempt at scaling the barrier, the creature moved on and out of sight. So apparently Bigfoot is into bouldering and rock climbing. He was like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm going to climb this wall. So the next part kind of sticks out to me here. The hiker was joined by two others conduct a search of the area. During the search, they were able to locate prints in the snow, including large hand and footprints, which were photographed. That being said, they were unable to again locate the actual creature. So,
This is where I think it's fake.
right?
If I see, I mean, okay, we'll just get rid of the pop baby fictional beast here.
Right.
We'll replace the Bigfoot with a grizzly bear. If I see a grizzly bear and then he stumbles off into the woods, I'm not going over to where he was to see what he was doing.
Right.
over
Hold
there.
on. I got something for it here. Give me 1 sec. I got to pull something up. So we're going to pretend that I'm about to give you a phone call. So I'm going to just pick a ring here. Let's do... That's your phone ringing.
Yep.
Say hello.
Hello.
Hey, Saul. It's Ross.
Yep.
I'm out here
Hello, man.
in the woods. You know that camping trip I was telling you about?
Sure. Yeah.
So, I just saw what I'm pretty sure is a Bigfoot. You know, like Harry
Okay.
and the Hendersons? Like that
Yeah,
movie, that
yeah.
show? Way bigger than that. And he was trying to climb this wall. And he looked super
Okay.
mad. He actually
Yeah.
punched solid granite and damaged it. I'm thinking me and Kathy are going to go look for him. Do you want to get you and your
Okay.
wife out here and we'll all four go look and get murdered by Bigfoot?
I mean, it sounds like a plan. Let's do that.
All right. I'll send you the GPS coordinates so you can find our mangled bodies because we're going to look before you get here.
Yeah.
Like, is that how that, like, conversation goes?
I'm not doing that. I'm just like, okay, well, I'm glad that thing was nowhere near me.
Right?
I don't know.
Like,
Maybe it's just different type of personalities. I guess if you're adventurous, maybe. But
well,
I don't know, man.
so I'm trying to put myself in the place of seeing a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So, if I see a Bigfoot, what I assume is a Bigfoot, like, I can't describe it. I've never seen an animal like this. But it's clearly, like, humanoid in shape. And it's
Yeah.
trying to climb something, and then it fails and, like, moves on. It's probably frustrated. I just
Yeah.
can't imagine why I would go searching for it.
Yes.
Like,
Well,
yes, there is a part of me that wants to figure out what I have just seen.
Sure.
There's the other part of me that is like, you know, an orangutan is fairly small, but
Yeah.
could rip my arms off and beat me with them if it really wanted to, but they're not exactly
Yeah.
that mean.
Yeah.
This thing I know literally nothing about. I don't know if I want to go trying to find it in the snow.
So I'm just like I said, I'm trying to put myself in that situation. I've never seen a Bigfoot. I have seen dogs. We'll just say I've seen big dogs while I'm walking on the street, or
Yeah.
walking in my neighborhood or whatever, and I see a large-sized dog walking around. I'm a dog person. I like dogs. I'm not really timid around dogs, but if I see a big dog, I'm going to try to stay away from that dog because I don't know what the type of dog. I don't know what that dog's going to do to me.
Right.
You know.
let
hesitant
alone
of that
a
dog.
creature you have no idea of.
Yes, yes, yeah. So I'm hesitant of a big dog that probably is going to be friendly with me, but maybe not. I'm not going to do that with an 8 foot tall ape thing.
Right?
I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if you had like telephoto lens, like like some kind of like super nice camera because you were into photography,
Yeah.
and you could try to like zoom in on it from a safe distance if you could see it.
Yeah,
But you got to assume it probably has a good idea how to be a little bit stealthy.
yeah,
Because again, if there are Bigfoots and we haven't just outright caught one, that means they have a general idea on how not to be seen.
sure.
Or
Well-
or we go back to interdimensional Bigfoot theory, the worst Bigfoot of all time.
Oh. Well, I just remember this one person told me once. He's like, "I wouldn't mind going out in the Bigfoot country if I had a high-powered rifle." I'm like, "How am I even doing that?" Because I don't know if this high-powered rifle is going to stop this thing.
So this is me thinking on the fly. Now, I'm not a huge gun person. I'm a fan of revolvers. I don't think for a second a revolver is going to stop Bigfoot because I doubt it's stopping a bear unless you get like dead-on headshot.
Yeah.
So every depiction of Bigfoot, they have like this really large skull.
Yes.
Seems like. Now, is that skull so thick that a bullet may not go through it? Like with your high-powered rifle? Like, are you packing like armor-piercing rounds in this thing? But so assuming, again, like I'm sure you've seen like where gorillas or apes, like they'll move a lot quicker than you thought they would at times.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming bipedal Bigfoot, let alone if it's interdimensional Bigfoot, where he basically instant transmissions behind you and he's got you,
Yeah.
which would be even more horrifying, honestly.
Yes.
Yes. He could probably close on you pretty quick. So if you do shoot him, let's say best case scenario, you get a headshot.
Yes.
Turns out that didn't work.
Yes. And
What's
now
your
you go
what's
through-
your next point? You try to shoot again, and now you're under pressure with something charging you. Or are you going to make that shot again?
Well, that's
Because
what I'm saying. So now
I'm going
you
to
have
guess,
something
like
that's-
trained snipers, not the kind of person who's looking for Bigfoot.
That's what I'm saying. So at first you had something that was curious about you. Now you have something that's pissed off at you.
Yes. Which your best
So-
case is it runs away. Worst case is it decides to eliminate the threat.
Yes, yes. So I don't know. I just think the whole idea of looking, or I don't know. I just
Well,
maybe I'm a different personality type. I don't know.
so let's go back. Remember the one story we've talked about a couple times where the guy shot at someone in the woods because he was like, "Well, I just figured you were a Bigfoot because you weren't wearing an orange vest." I wonder if that guy's really thought through the end result of shooting a Bigfoot non-lethally, how that might turn out for him.
Yes.
Or again, that guy's a psychopath, and that's his excuse to try to murder people.
Sure.
Well, one or the other. But yeah, so there's a. I'm skipping a couple lines here, but after deeper analysis of the witness account, investigator Scott Miles wrote, "I believe that he, the witness, saw exactly what he reported and was a witness to a Sasquatch. Probably a young individual that accidentally or naively got caught in a compromising situation in the daytime in a fairly high traffic area.
Yeah.
This sighting is considered to be a Class A sighting, meaning that misinterpretation or misidentification of a sighting can be ruled out with greater confidence compared to other sightings that may occur in the dark or obscured settings, or when you have a Polaroid camera from 1947 on a washing machine vibrating so you don't get a clear picture in 2019. Summit that I was ad-libbed, just to be fair.
Yes.
Summit County is no stranger to Bigfoot sightings, with multiple sightings in the area. Look, finds Summit daily in 2003. Mysterious footprint near Buffalo Mountain.
Yes.
Oh, wait. There's a link at the bottom to images. So, I'm not going through this whole page because the text is like a size 3 font. Witness standing next to white rock and creature's position on Gold Hill Ridge indicated by a red arrow. So imagine if you don't actually want to go to the trouble of searching the site and all that crap. There's a picture of a dude with 2 walking sticks next to a big old rock that's about like waist high. So imagine that, you know, like the old Windows background that was just the big hill?
Yes.
Pretend it's that. And then he's standing next to a rock that's at the very front of it. And then there's just a big red arrow from MS Paint pointing further up the hill. And it's like, and that right there is where the Bigfoot was.
Sure.
Yeah. The photo evidence here, handprints and tracks with ski pole for reference. Are you?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. I mean, it's such a generic footprint that it's like, well, it's definitely not another animal, but that snow looks really deep that a Bigfoot would not have sunk much further into the snow than that.
Sure.
And then there's another one that looks like
a bear.
Maybe. Head-on view of snow with handprints. This is... Whatever.
Yeah.
We're moving. So I'm going to say they probably didn't see Bigfoot.
I'm going to assume he just saw a bear walking into the woods.
Could be. But that one, I think that was the old one. But either way, like, one day I still hope we find a Bigfoot. I hope we find Bigfoot. He's on a asteroid in outer space. There's a lake of water on the asteroid. And he is also, while riding all of that, he's on the back of Nessie.
There you go.
Who has, as of a couple weeks ago, January 30th, has been spotted 3 times in just 11 days, claims a researcher.
Now, well, we had the sun here, but I actually sent you one from MSN.
Well, that's definitely more
respectable than the sun. So.
Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, so the one on the sun, there's... Again, it drives me insane that we're in 2021 now, and evidence is these, like, CCTV-type pictures where you can't... Like, it's a blurry picture with something in the water and a red circle around it. It's like... Yeah. That's the Loch Ness Monster right there. Like, come on, dude. Like, you can, like, use Unreal Engine for free and make a better...
Yeah, it's a lot of it's like, really, with all the technology we have right now, this is the best picture you got.
Yeah, so let's see what's on the MSN one here. I do not accept your privacy stuff, but first time this year's official sighting is recorded. And it's like basically the same picture but zoomed in on, and they used like an arrow instead of a circle.
Yeah.
After checking back the footage a few times, she felt certain of what she saw and reported to the official Loch Ness Monster Sighting Register, who later verified her account. So, a group that is convinced the Loch Ness Monster exists verified that the Loch Ness Monster exists.
Well, yes.
All right, excellent.
Well, yeah, it's like saying, you know, Trump supporters or Joe Biden supporters say that their president is not a liar. It's like,
right? Or would you have like organizations investigate themselves? Like,
yes.
Oh no, we didn't do. Like, even though it looks like I stole that $500, I investigated. I did not. So we'll just move on.
I've investigated Ross, and this is a really, he's a really good guy. So we're good.
This is all on the level. Nothing wrong doing here. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so this is, now again, I'm being critical of this because it drives me crazy that the stuff they use for it, like, there's got to be, even if you're making stuff up, Or maybe that's it. Maybe it's like, well, this is so cheesy, no one would think we would actually try to pull this off as fake or as real because it seems so fake, so they'll believe it's real. But
Well, I've seen enough on the Loch Ness monster, I guess, because there's also another similar creature in the Amazon called the Ogopogo, I guess.
yeah,
And I find that the Ogopogo monster in the Amazon is more believable because it has more of its food sources than the Loch Ness. Because Loch Ness would have limited food sources to
right.
survive. Yeah. So I just think that I don't know. I think they're just grasping for straws for the Loch Ness monster, and I think it's just like pieces of wood or I don't know.
Yeah,
a whale
or
something.
whatever. Well, like there was the one famous sighting that eventually came out. Like the guy finally took credit for it, which
Sure.
credit to him for waiting that long to take credit for it. Like
Sure.
really letting it play out. That's impressive.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a fantasy, I guess, of like spooky over here or something.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm being very critical of these because it drives me crazy. But like, I hope all this stuff is real. I wish.
Oh, sure.
I wish the Earth was. I wish we found out the Earth was flat. Bigfoot
Yes.
was lying to us about it. Bigfoot actually
Yes.
was an alien.
Oh, yeah.
His spaceship is actually the Loch Ness monster that travels intergalactically, and all kinds of other stuff. Like it would be super exciting to be like, "Whoa! Everything I know has been flipped upside down a little bit. Let's see what happens."
Sure.
I'm just not just not optimistic of it. The Earth,
Yeah.
the moon is actually made out of cheese.
Yes.
Can you
There were
imagine how
dragons.
would moon cheese? Because if it turned out the moon was cheese, 100% like Nestle's or somebody would be enslaving moon people to mine the cheese off the moon. How expensive would moon cheese be?
There would be people. Yeah, there would be people trying to get moon cheese. I guarantee.
I mean, I would want moon cheese
Sure.
myself. Like as a common person. Now, Elon Musk is going to have moon cheese, but would he like sell it? Like, because moon cheese would be worth more than gold, right?
I would assume yes.
Because there's like a limited supply. I mean, there's asteroids that have more gold than our entire planet. So
Yes.
just wait till we start mining those bad boys.
Yep.
So I don't know. Yeah, man, moon cheese would be awesome. How do you think it would taste?
Well, there's a brand of something called moon cheese that my wife loves, and it tastes disgusting. So every time you say moon cheese, I'm thinking of this brand that my wife likes. It's like some kind of Cheez-It thing, and it's terrible. So
Hold on, I'm looking. I've seen pictures of this stuff. So that cheese, I'm going to tell you something. That cheese isn't real moon cheese.
Sure.
So I think we can throw that out. If there's actual cheese on the moon, these guys are out of business. Unless the moon cheese tastes dead on to what they have made. I think because of less gravity, it would be very fluffy. It'd be like a cotton candy, but cheese. But it doesn't necessarily like dissolve in water. So you could give it to a raccoon.
Sure.
That's what I think.
All right, Ross. I think we're stretching this here.
Yes.
I'm just not getting into the moon cheese here. So
All
let's
right.
go off to the. Let's
I'm
go to
super
rest
into the
here.
moon cheese, but that's fine. Like, I like to imagine. Let's go. I'm going to say we go to wrestling. Because wrestling was pretty crazy this week. Here we go.
I don't know what the hell's going on here, folks. Looks like he's just wearing blue pants.
This is a revolution.
All right. So we had for Dynamite this week, it was totally not Bash at the Beach Break. Pretty good show overall, I would say. But the big event at the end kind of makes me forget everything that happened on the show.
Yeah, I know.
Which is impressive because that means it was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So we kind of mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but yeah, the end part gets crazy. Show opened up. We got the tag team battle royal. I was kind of surprised at the end result of this, because you got Jericho and MJF win.
Yeah.
Is that what I was expecting? Young Bucks to win, for them to pick the Good Brothers, and then something real screwy happened.
Yeah. I'm just wondering what the whole thing is with FTR. What's the big setup that they're doing with it? Because obviously they're doing something with it. Because FTR has been doing numerous interviews that AEW screwing them out of chances and everything. So
yeah,
I'm more interested in what they're doing with that.
Yeah, it's like the background build to something. But I mean, let me try to get down here to the next part here, because I wanted to do it kind of in order. You get like a Darby Allin and Sting kind of came out. You get that whole thing. Team Taz interrupts, where they're just angry.
Yes.
Which pretty in character for Taz to be angry. So,
Sure.
But for whatever reason, Darby is gonna go against Joey Janela next week.
No.
Sure, why not? Like,
Yeah.
do I think Joey Janela is gonna win that belt? Absolutely not. Do I think something crazy is gonna happen in that match? Yes.
Sure.
So like the first like significant match.
I know it's not like this, but it almost feels like Joey Janela is just hanging around in the backstage, eating food, and like they just like, "Hey Joey, you want to go up and wrestle? Sure, guys, let me go ahead and do that."
Let me finish this hoagie.
He doesn't. I don't know. I don't mean to pick on the guy, but it just seems like his character doesn't go anywhere. It just every now and then they put him in a match, then he disappears a little bit.
I saw someone point out that they feel like his heart's not in it. Now, I don't know if this is a person that knows him, or they're just trying to diagnose like what's off with him. Yeah. But I mean, it could, because like he was a fairly popular guy when AEW started, but I don't know if he just doesn't want to like do crazy stuff all the time. Like, I'm not sure what would cause it, basically. But like even Darby on one of his, like, I don't know if it was a tweet or something, he was like, there was a point where Joey Janela was the main event in Dynamite. That's the Joey Janela I want to fight, or something like that. So maybe they're just holding off. Maybe he was hurt. Maybe he just wanted to take it easy for a while because he was tired of being thrown off roofs.
Sure.
Maybe he's not as, like, when he's not doing the crazy stuff, maybe he's not as good. I don't know.
They try to team him up with Sonny Kiss, and that whole tag team, I'm just like, this is stupid.
Well, it's like they started trying, and I was like, all right, I'll see where this goes. Sure. And then they just kind of backed off it. Like, they're still together, but they didn't really further anything. I don't know, like, it's one of those ones where it's like, I don't know that they messed up Joey Janela. You know what I'm like? But something's just not clicking. Like, whatever he's doing just isn't right. Unless that's the role that he is needed in right now. Sure. But, I mean, he's got to be getting kind of older. Like, he's put a lot of wear on his body, so I don't know.
Oh, the same thing with Sean Spears. He just... Yeah. They're like, okay, they're finally going to do something with him. And they're like, okay, well, no, I guess they're not. Okay.
Right. And again, I mean, there's always the potential that the talent itself or the wrestler themselves is like, real life is going on behind the scenes that we're never going to know about. And maybe they're like, I can't guarantee I could be around for a big promo. I got sick. There's like all kinds of crazy stuff that could be going on. That could explain it that we'll never know about. And I mean, we don't need to know that, but we are going to ask, like, well, why?
Or we won't know about it until like years and years. Like I always kind of wondered about why Scott Hall was always disappeared.
Yeah.
In the NWO, and then years later you found out, well, he was going through a lot of stuff.
Right.
Home life. So, okay. But at the time, you're like, well, why aren't you using Scott Hall? He's the best wrestler that you guys got in the WWE.
Yeah, and then it's like, we're not doing that. Yeah. Yeah, and then you find, like, no, you're dead right. And that could be what goes on with some of these guys. Or they're like, I just didn't want... Like, I saw someone who was fairly new to wrestling, who had watched, like, a lot of the mid-2000s stuff, and they're like, how is it possible that Shawn Michaels wasn't a world champion? And it's like, well, you're like, I can't believe they wouldn't have put the title on that guy. It would have been money. And it's like, they wanted to. Shawn Michaels didn't want to be a world champion ever again. Because he didn't want the... It always sounded like he didn't want the responsibility. And I think he knew the mentality of being the champion was not healthy for him. Sure. Or he just wanted to be able to go home and not have to be guaranteed on every house show and all that stuff, which good for him.
Sure.
But yes, I mean, it's like, if you don't know, like, it seems real strange, but then you find out something. It's like, oh, well, that's what was going on. Oh, okay. Maybe Joey Janela had like hip surgery and.
Well, just recently with us talking about Brody Lee and Cody, we're like, well, why in the world? This whole match is kind of goofy. And we figure out what. Then you just learn later, like, oh, okay. So Brody was actually.
Yeah, and there's other stuff was going on.
And like you said, we don't need to know. I mean, I care about these guys wrestling owners, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, but like from a story standpoint, you're just wondering, be like, well, that's real strange that this character, like, they just dropped off the face of the earth. Like, what's going on here? And then you find, I'm like, oh, well, that kind of explains it.
Sure.
So
they're human beings. They're not characters. So
yes.
That.
Yeah, on the backside, yes. I mean, we only see the character in most cases. All right, so I thought this match was really good. I don't know how you felt about it. Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker.
Yeah, it was good.
I liked it. The Thunder Rosa, like, again, it's like Britt carried her part for sure, but how much of it is Thunder Rosa? Kind of thing. But again, like, if you can wrestle someone who's good and you can have a good match with them, then that's all that really matters. But yeah, this was definitely, I think, one of Britt's best matches.
Sure.
Maybe the Sheeta one where she got busted open. Like, I'd say they're both like on kind of the same level. Like, they were both really good. So, but they led, Britt kind of cheats. Well, more than kind of. Britt cheats, gets the victory. I saw a lot of people that are like, did Thunder Rosa really get knocked out? And it's like, no, she was nowhere near the metal ring on that turnbuckle, but she sure did sell like she was knocked out for real.
Sure.
So, hopefully we will get more of Britt Baker. Like, this is how good she is now. I mean, she's had time. She's around a pretty good wrestler constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone was like, man, if she can keep having matches like this consistently, it'll eventually be like, look over there, it's Britt Baker's boyfriend. As opposed to, look, it's Adam Cole's girlfriend.
Yes, sure.
Let's see. So, this match, people were mad about this match, I saw. Like, I was watching like a kind of like a live thread on it.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, they just threw this match on here. It doesn't even need to be on the show. And this is the Hangman, Matt Hardy against Chaos Project. It was basically just a storytelling match because it was about, like, 2 minutes? Felt like.
Yeah, they're just building onto the story of Hangman Page, basically.
Everybody talks at me and not to me. Or something.
The whole sad cowboy, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's a sad cowboy at this point.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of transitioned past that. I think now he's just getting mad at everybody.
Sure.
Because he was, like, side-eyeing Matt Hardy after he tagged himself in to get the pin.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, we'll have to wait for BTE to get further intimate details as to what's going on.
He just needs to be with another cowboy. He needs to find another cowboy wrestler.
Is there another cowboy wrestler?
I have no idea. I think Major League Wrestling has a cowboy.
All right,
That one dude, the guy that drinks beer. What's his name from Impact?
James Storm.
Yeah, but bring him in. He seems like a cowboy, or he drinks beer, so I mean, he should be friends with Hangman.
Well, I mean, FTR kind of used that logic, so he's not going to be trusting of anybody. I mean, he's broken emotionally. He needs someone to fix him.
Yes.
I don't know who that man is going to be, but unless it's himself and he just has to do it, like there better be like a happy ending to Hangman's story. Because if it all builds up to him to getting like another world title shot and then he loses, it's gonna be like, are you kidding? Like, I understand the real world is depressing. I don't need to want someone to be happy so badly.
Sure.
Let's see. So they furthered from earlier, like from the Battle Royal. MJF has clearly got the fix in at this point because he has like Jericho and Sammy leave, and MJF like gets the camera guy out and he's talking to the rest of the inner circle. So I assume we're gonna head to the end game for that for Revolution, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you like that's one that I'm impatient on just because not that it's like, oh, I need to see what I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen one way or the other. I just want to get on to the next thing for them and see what it's going to be. This one, I'm kind of like how you are on some of them where it's like I'm ready for it to be over.
I'm ready for Jericho to do his own thing. I mean, if you're not going to do it, make Inner Circle a dominant team, just give it to MJF and let Jericho do his own. I don't know.
Yeah, or let Jericho be like a good guy that is strong but can put some people over, kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Penelope and Kip's wedding.
I took a really long bathroom break during this, and
so I myself don't particularly care for the wedding segments. I did like that James Mitchell was the person to do the ceremony. I was hoping it was Eric Bischoff disguised as James Mitchell, but obviously that didn't happen. So do you hate wedding segments as well?
Yeah, they're dumb. I don't care about them.
So do you know on the quarter-hour breakdown that wedding segments are traditionally one of the strongest segments on a wrestling show?
I don't know why. I don't get it.
It's because regular people love the drama.
I hate wrestling. I hate weddings in real life. I don't like watching them. So I don't want to watch it on my wrestlers doing it. So
well, I mean, we are obviously not the targeted demographic. Now, I was interested in this wedding because it's the first one that AEW has done. So I was like, so how are they going to mess, like, not like the segment messed up, but like how is the wedding going to get messed up? And I kind of liked the way they did it because technically he was only the Charles Taylor was only the butler until the wedding. So once the wedding happened, he was off. And the way they chained up Miro, basically they chained up Miro so that he couldn't protect Kip, which shows how strong they feel Miro is. Like, but it kind of makes Miro the good guy in the situation. Like, yeah, he was being a jerk, but like best friends are constantly kind of douchebags.
It's because they are.
Right. Yes. Yes. I forgot to check in with the most unbiased, impartial best friends person, but like I just thought it was funny that this is like multiple times where it's like, they're kind of the bad guys. But yeah, so it turns into a mess, and poor Kip and Penelope, the Orange Cassidy and a cake. I actually didn't see it coming.
No.
Like as soon as he was standing there, I was like, I can't believe I didn't see that coming.
Sure.
Let's see.
So let's talk about the big thing here.
Shaq?
Jake the Snake wearing a normal outfit.
I am assuming.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I guess Shaq did crap.
Yeah, we're gonna get. Thank goodness that this Cody Rhodes Shaq thing is just gonna be on a Dynamite and not a pay-per-view.
Yes.
I would like to pretend that I care about this. Once it happens, if it's good, I'll be like, I don't think I'll ever be like, well, I thought it could be good. I'll be like, I hope that it would be good, and they actually made it good. But I'm expecting us to get on here and be like, can you believe what we just sat through for 20 minutes of the show?
I'm expecting Dennis Rodman and Karl Malone. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, do you hope that it turns out good, though? Where you're just like, I can't believe how amazing that was.
I don't see it being good.
I don't either.
Shaq is funny. Shaq is funny, sure. I just think he's just going to be really goofy wrestling with Cody. I don't know.
Well, yeah, there's going to lack the right edge to it, kind of.
Sure.
Yeah, but
I just can't take him serious.
So, but moving on, yeah. So Jake Roberts, he didn't have his snakeskin everything. I assume he was wearing a snakeskin thong or something underneath to keep the gimmick alive. But
sure.
This match, I really wasn't into it.
Yeah.
Like watching it, it was good, but I wasn't into it.
Lance Archer he's all over the place. I don't know what he's doing. He's just beating up people.
Well, I mean, everybody's got to die. The good guys, the bad guys, the tweeners, they all got to die.
True. It's very true.
Either way, Lance Archer gets the win on this one. There's no choke slam to the outside apron that made me feel a broken hip or anything. So,
sure.
Now, you said Jake Roberts wearing normal clothes was the big moment of the show. Yeah. I think FTR's, again, face turn was amazing with the video they sent in.
Sure.
So, short of this is FTR's doing like a video, basically just complaining, because that's what bad guys do. Yep. And then it gets to the end and he's like, we're not bad guys, but sometimes we got to think, what would a bad guy do? And they have kidnapped or abducted, I don't know what you would consider it, Marco Stunt. He's taped to a chair.
Yeah.
Now, are they actually like torturing him, or did they just kidnap him? Because again, this is one of those pro wrestling things where normally the police would be involved. Can you, like, 911, could you please report your emergency? Like, someone just kidnapped my friend. I'm like, all right, sir, before you go on, are you or the people involved, are they contracted to a professional wrestling company? Well, yeah. What does it, was it done at a stadium or a taping location for that show? Yeah, but then that's out of our jurisdiction. You need to get some independent wrestlers dressed up as police to take care of this. But my friend's been kidnapped. Yeah, we don't do that. Click.
I just go back to what Scott Hall said once. And he's like, I like logic in matches.
Yeah.
He's like, so when you say you're going to kill somebody, he's like, well, you can't kill somebody. He's like, this is wrestling is supposed to be a competition between two people, and you win. He's like, you can't kill somebody. You can't kidnap them. You can't, He's like, so I go back to that logic, like, like you said. What are you going to do with Marco?
Right. I mean, maybe they're just scaring him to not get involved or something.
Also, I don't care what you do with Marco, because you could just get rid of him altogether, and I'd be happy with it. So, I mean,
I like Marco getting beat up. I'm going to be honest.
Sure.
It might not be very nice of me, but that's the truth. But yeah, so FTR, who knows? Like, they're obviously going to have like another match against. Dude, are we going to get Marco on a pole?
Yes, I hope so. Marco on a pole. That's what it's going to be.
Oh man, we could only be so lucky to be graced with such a match.
And they should call Buff Bagwell and Judy to have them in the audience. That way, they're like, yeah.
Like the last time we had a person on, like where they had Greg Valentine for the dog collar match, like treat it like a super serious thing and be like, we got Buff Bagwell and his mom out here.
Tony Schiavone, they can actually play it up and be like, the last time this was on TNT was Judy Bagwell and Buff Bagwell.
So let's say for some reason, because I can come up with like a fantasy scenario where FTR is like, you know what, Lucha Express, or not Lucha Express, Jurassic Express, you guys are a joke. You're stupid. You want Marco back, you're going to have to be in a joke of a match. We want Marco on, like, where they basically, are like, we want to do something stupid to, AEW is going to insult us. We're going to insult AEW right back. Like, there's a way you could do that, and it almost makes sense. But the other route is them treating it as, like, the most serious thing in existence would be awful, but I would love it.
Yeah, because, I mean, I think everyone knows that if you follow AEW that Tony Khan loves Jurassic Express.
Yeah.
So FTR can make a mockery of the Jurassic Express. Like, yeah, we're just going to make this as stupid as their gimmick is. Yeah,
right. Stupid as that, and just because they feel slighted by AEW, that's the only way that it's like, we're going to make you do the dumbest match ever to get us back, which would kind of like, I think they could probably pull that off.
It's funny because if you really think about it, FTR is really being Jim Cornette in AEW. Yeah. They are everything against that AEW stands for. So I wonder if anyone's ever really realized that. Well, that's what FTR is. They are basically Jim Cornette,
right? Yeah, a little more controlled, but yeah, like they pick out the little things. But I mean, it's good too, because like that shows that AEW is willing to allow someone to point out sometimes the flaws that they have.
Make fun of them.
Yeah, because there was Tony Khan was actually, I think it was on Jericho's podcast this week, and he was like, "Yeah, there's been a few things here and there." He was like, "I really wish we would have done something different." He was like, in some of those cases, like I was talked into an idea that was that I thought was a bad idea, but I went with it. Other cases, I couldn't be talked out of an idea, kind of thing. But he at least seems to admit, he's like, you know what, we do pretty good most of the time, but occasionally we just kind of mess up. And it's like, well, at least he's not like insane, where he thinks he's like doing it perfect every time. So
like somebody else up north.
I mean, we don't know that though, because you will never hear Vince McMahon do a podcast, I assume, where he talks where I believe that he is talking like truly candidly, because he was on Austin's once, I think, but
yeah, sure.
That was the one where he was like, yeah, Cesaro just isn't it. It's like, are you sure? Because I've seen the crowd reaction, I've seen him talk, I've seen him wrestle. I feel like he could be it. Like, you just, anytime he starts to get momentum, you just get rid of it.
Well, this is it, though. I mean, because Vince McMahon is a very smart businessman. So if he ever is like doing live, like an actual supposed to be a real interview, he would play it up. He would be the character that everyone thinks he is.
Right.
So,
yeah, but then you never know what he really thinks.
Exactly.
Which is probably what he wants, but it's like maybe do something to dispel some of that negative opinion, because it's probably hurting a little bit. It is funny to go back. I was thinking about this the other day, though, we might have talked about this and I just forgot about it. We're like, so Tony Khan is a big wrestling fan, and then he started up the wrestling company, and everybody was like, oh my God, a fan starting a wrestling company.
Yeah.
What do you want starting up? Like, look at this new restaurant over here, Saul. This guy, it's a burger joint. This guy's a burger chef that loves hamburgers. What a mark. Yeah. Can you believe how big of a mark you have to be to start a hamburger restaurant when you love hamburgers?
This guy across the street, he hates tacos, and he runs a taco.
They are the shittiest tacos I've ever had.
Yes.
But I love it.
Yes. He's genuine to himself. He hates Doc. He hates him. He actually comes out and criticizes him.
Like, I'm sure I'm not the only one, but like that being one of the criticisms that I still see occasionally, where it's like, oh, Tony Khan's a mark for wrestling. What do you want to run a wrestling company? Like, wouldn't you want someone who's either, if it's not someone who's involved with the business, which everyone who's been involved with the business, hey, Jeff Jarrett comes to mind, how that's working out. Hey, look, we got a fan who actually like understands storyline, like continuity and things like that actually has the money to make it happen. Let's see what he does, maybe. It's just bizarre. But like, it's just that I was like, can you believe that guy that loves hamburgers and knows how to cook them would be such a mark to start a restaurant selling hamburgers?
Sure.
Anyway, so I saw something that kicked me off, and I just was reminded of it. And I was like, that is like the dumbest argument I've ever heard.
Sure. So to finish this up here, with the Good Brothers.
Yeah, Good Brothers, Kenny, Pac, Moxley, Phoenix. To me, this match pretty much did what I thought it would.
Yes.
But dude, Phoenix is amazing every time.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking at work briefly, where like I'm aware that Doc Gallows is a good wrestler for a big man, but I haven't really seen anything like. I don't know that the WWE run really counts, but there were some times where the way he was selling for Phoenix, and just the way he got in position for the next stuff and the way he made it look, it was like that looked really believable when it probably shouldn't to me. There were just moments where it was like, maybe that's actually what it is just how he works with other people. Because like obviously he worked differently against Moxley than Phoenix versus Pac. But I don't know, something about it, like Carl Anderson's always been impressive to me, and pretty much everyone except Doc Gallows in the match, like they're good, like no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, there was like glimpses of something that made me appreciate Doc Gallows more than I have previously.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if that was something you noticed in that or not.
He's just a big man. I mean, I don't really. Maybe I just have a low bar for big men. I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean, offensively,
big man stuff.
Offensively, he does big man stuff. It just seems like when he's on the defensive, it looks pretty good. I'd still like to say that the only thing that could make the Magic Killer worse is if Luchasaurus was involved with it.
Sure.
But yeah, so this match is, like Kenny Omega's team isn't losing anytime soon, I don't think. Phoenix, unfortunately, is the one who ate the pin, but kind of makes sense. It wasn't going to be Moxley. So there's like beatdown going on. Your boy Lance Archer comes out and was involved. I'm assuming that's also what you were referring to as like he's everywhere.
He just starts attacking the Good Brothers for whatever reason.
There's people in the ring that gotta die. Here I go. Jake's like, go get them, I guess.
Yeah.
So Moxley is getting to his feet though after like all the craziness, and he's getting ready to attack Kenny Omega. Somebody comes out of the crowd, so stop there for a second. So he gets kind of like jumped from behind by some dude who's like totally suited up, and you can't tell who it is. Yeah. Did you immediately think Kenta, or because I was like, who is that? Like I was trying to figure out who it would be, because I'm still at this moment in time. There's a part of me that's like, oh, Kenta, and I'm like, no, I don't want to get my hopes up.
I mean, I don't really know who Kenta is, to be honest with you. Because I don't really follow new.
Well, in NXT, he was Hideo Tony or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Hideo, I can't remember what they named him. It was something dumb. But yeah, so.
I mean, until he took off his thing and was wearing a Bullet Club t-shirt, I was like, oh, okay, he's part of the Bullet Club.
Yeah. So he is, I think technically he's part of Noah. But yeah, he's definitely like considered Bullet Club. So Kenta was pretty big in Japan, and then he was one of the first. I guess you would say one of the first big people to come to NXT when NXT was starting to become kind of what it is now. And they changed his name, but it was still Kenta. And, like, he was on quite the streak. But they changed his name. He was a Hideo. His move is the go to sleep. Like, that was his move. But he couldn't do it because of CM Punk, I guess.
Okay.
Like, now, I'm making an assumption there. I don't know if there's anything to finalize it, but he specifically, basically, he was like the inventor to the move. And he wasn't doing it. Now, I don't know if that was his decision or if that was a WWE thing. Because there was a video where he would tease it all the time, like he was going for it, and then they'd reverse it or whatever. He finally hit it at a house show before WrestleMania, I think, and like the crowd went insane. But they made him do this like shotgun drop kick for his finisher, and it was dumb. But yeah, like he had like a couple injuries in a row or something, and then he eventually got moved to 205 Live, which seemed like a complete waste of the guy.
That's a death sentence, yeah.
At that time, yeah. Like, realistically, I think 205 Live has some of the best like matches that you can get. It's 205 Live, and it's not what WWE really does. So you're kind of lost there. But yeah, so when he went back to Japan, he ended up joining Bullet Club, and it's been a pretty big deal. So Moxley has like the United States title over there. Kenta won kind of like a Money in the Bank thing where he gets like a guaranteed shot at that title. Okay. But due to pandemic, he's basically been defending his title shot like the title.
Okay.
So, and he's been like pretty vocal here and there about it. Like, where's the champ? Like, this is kind of dumb that I'm defending this thing.
Yeah.
So I assume Kenta is going to win that belt, whether it's through a screw job or something, but they kind of need to get that belt back to Japan.
Sure.
But yeah, the real thing is he heralds, New Japan, Bullet Club actually showing up on AEW.
So New Japan, instead of stripping Moxley, they were just trying to.
They were waiting.
Waiting.
Yeah, there was one of like the dirt sheet things, and I can't verify it, and I have no idea if it's true information or not. But basically, like the reason that New Japan hasn't stripped Moxley is they really want him to be involved over there, and that's actually he is basically the reason they are willing to do business like this is because it's important to them to have him involved.
Sure.
Which, if that is true, that is crazy to think that Dean Ambrose, who they just wouldn't really do. I mean, I don't think he was super mistreated. I mean, he had a world title reign. He was in the he was a top dude, but just not what he could have been. That dude, like, if you look at the worst when he was coming out with the ketchup and mustard in the holster, that dude could be the reason that wrestling, like, the legitimate paradigm shift. Like, he could be like a big part of that actually being able to happen. It's just wild. So good for him.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, so does it excite you that there is a very good chance now that we will see actual Bullet Club or perhaps Jay White or Tama Tonga showing up somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, it makes me curious now, like, what are they going to do with it? I mean, stupid Corona, I think, is going to make it not... It's going to keep it from being as cool as it probably could be. You know?
What if, though, I will ask this, what if because of the coronavirus and, like, the lockdowns and all that, what if that is the only reason this is actually happening?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, maybe.
Like, is the trade-off for it being pretty good versus not happening at all?
I don't know.
Because the thing is, like, if they do business now, because they're not doing, like, AEW's not invading Impact. New Japan's not invading. It's a particular faction feuding with a particular group.
Well, yeah.
So it's just crossover.
Honestly, I think that's better.
Yes. I am convinced of that.
I hate when the promotions. I mean, granted, we only saw WWE do it,
Right.
invading themselves, but I just
Right. But you knew they were never going to let WCW win. But if you would have instead, now obviously there was like all kinds of contract issues and stuff, but yeah, if you would have had the Four Horsemen feud with like a WWE group, well, yeah, it's fine for the Four Horsemen to win, and then you have one of your WWE groups, say DX, feud with an NW, like individual thing. It's not necessarily, and you can intermix where like someone who is in WWE joins their old WCW faction, so that it's not it's this fact. You turn it into this faction against this faction, not this company against this company. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, if you had, like, I don't know, when Jericho went over to WWE, do it because WCW wasn't using them right, had Dean Malenko invade and attack Chris Jericho on WWE Network and actually keep WCW, like, Dean Malenko wrestling for WWE for a couple. That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, just like a little storyline.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, so the whole faction thing, I think is pretty cool. So
yeah, it makes me optimistic. I just really hope. There's some people who are like, well, now Kenny Omega needs to win the IWGP World Title, and it's like, I don't think that they're gonna do that. Like, I don't know that that's necessary. But you can tell, like, there's plenty of stories to tell.
There is. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Or have Jay White beat Kenny Omega.
That'd be crazy. I'm hoping we see some Jay White because I haven't seen a ton of his recent stuff, but I already thought he was pretty good. But it looks like he's coming to his own.
Well, I sent you a link on Pro Wrestling Tees. His T-shirts are pretty cool.
Yeah, let me see here, top sellers. Yeah, because Bullet Club, Go to Sleep Club had spiked there at one point.
Yep.
Like the U.S., the red, white, and blue version. Which I honestly, I don't own any shirts or anything, but that's up there for a shirt that I would kind of consider to get. Sure. Yeah, Jay White's got like the Cobra, like all kinds of Bullet Club stuff is popping back up. So, like really, some of these shirts are terrible though. Oh, the red. Okay, so he's got the King Switch that's a red shirt as well.
Yeah,
being cool. Red-haired and pale, I don't really pull off the red shirt.
Has terrible T-shirts. I don't know who does his T-shirt design.
I cannot believe how bad his shirts are. For as artistic as the guy is, like, he needs a friend. I think is what he needs. I think he needs a friend who will be like, dude, like, because even Darby, like, his shirts are like super busy, but they're way better than Moxley's stuff.
Sting is another good example. Put my logo on Scorpion. Bam, there you go. My name. It'll sell.
Yeah, like that's all you gotta do. Yeah, nothing crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I constantly have problems with wrestling shirts. It's like, yeah, that's great to make, like, I don't know, if you're gonna make like an over the top shirt, I feel like you also need to have like a normal person shirt.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Like Cody's got like the black shirt with just the all gray logo.
Yeah.
If you're a wrestling fan, you know what that logo is. If not, you're like, it's kind of a cool logo, but it's a pretty basic shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need
wear out in public.
I don't need like Cody's face airbrushed onto a shirt with tie dye behind it, with like the smoke clouds.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that was pretty big news. So we'll see where it goes. It has me excited. Like, after the show, I was pretty pumped up trying to read like news stuff to find out is that like a real working agreement that they have, or was this just a one-off with Kenta for the whole Moxley thing? But it sounds like it's very likely a legitimate program.
Yeah, the only people who are talking about it, and unfortunately, it's the dirt sheets because you're not going to get.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those. A lot of times, some of their stuff turns out to be correct.
Yeah.
But you don't know for sure.
Sure.
Now, I will say, like, someone like Meltzer is overall more reliable than, like, Super Wrestle News number 5 on YouTube, where they just make up stuff. But, like, John Moxley died in a car accident, and that's why they wrote him off with Kenta. They used a corpse. What?
It's like, what? Yeah.
I'm really not exaggerating much for some of the crazy stuff I've seen pop up. To where it's like, I want to click on the video to see what crazy stuff they're pushing, but I don't want to give them the view. But they don't have subtitles on, so like on mobile YouTube, where like you can watch the video with subtitles, basically.
Yeah.
Like they don't have subtitles, so I can't do that to find out what it is. I just can't give this person a click. I can't give them a view for this. There's no way this is true. I know that John Moxley isn't dead. They didn't weekend at Bernie's him.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
All right.
Well, I think we ran long today.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Because I have to be somewhere today.
Cool.
So I think it's a good stopping point. I think.
Yeah, we got like video game stuff, but it's nothing that won't hold till next week for sure. So I mean, nothing's going to compare to Bigfoot riding an asteroid with a saddle and a cowboy hat into the earth.
Yes.
Destroying the Loch Ness monster, who's actually the bad guy.
Your weird obsession there for a little bit of talking about moon cheese. I had to stop it. I'm like, okay, we're talking way too much.
It's gonna turn out moon cheese moves the numbers. We're gonna hashtag it. But it'll be real moon cheese, not fake moon cheese. So, all right, everybody, we're out of here. Agony at the Agony of Positivity on Twitter, if you can.
Facebook, Bookface, Instagram,
that thing. That thing with the thing. All right, we're doing short outro. Here we go.
Have a good week.
Later.